Netero and the Chimera Ant King have their final battle in my review of Hunter x Hunter, episode 126. The word epic gets thrown around a lot these days, especially with internet culture, but really, it's the perfect word to describe this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, which completely blew me away with its incredible production value, and of course getting to see Netero go up against the Chimera Ant King, who actually has his name revealed this week, but that's all after this nasty, nasty badass action, which I could not get enough of. And what was really great about this episode is that the momentum never dropped. The minute the episode started, these guys just started fighting. They didn't cut away to Gon, they didn't go to the other Chimera Ants, there wasn't any goofiness from Knuckle or anything this week. I knew the Chimera Ant King was powerful, I knew he was going to be a threat, but damn, this dude is like a freaking wall. Everything that Netero is throwing at him is not really doing much at all, especially in the first half of the episode, which, again, has some incredible animation. The way they're showing the Chimera Ant King just sort of blasting around this underground room, just going left and right, bouncing around the walls, crushing the pillars. You can see all of the debris kicking up in the air. It's really, really exciting. And while all of this is going on, you can see that he's, like, little by little analyzing his techniques and trying to figure a way to get in. And since he was playing that game with Komugi so much, he has a huge advantage in this battle, and it starts to show halfway through when Netero has his leg cut off by the Chimera Ant King, and it is intense as all shit. And this is the part of the episode when you start to see a pattern forming, where as the episode is going on, the Chimera Ant King is little by little taking off Netero's limbs, and when he does so, he's constantly asking, "What is my name? Tell me my name." And every single time, Netero never does anything but keep attacking. He actually, like, tenses up the muscles in his legs to keep them from bleeding out. And he even has this other super badass technique called the zero hand, which is very strange how it starts. He does like this one-hand prayer, and this massive Buddha statue appears behind the Chimera Ant King, and then it gently grabs him, and then it blasts him with this big-ass aura of doom and just tries to destroy him, and it does a lot of damage. It clearly looked like it hurt him a little bit, but he comes walking out of the smoke, and nothing is affecting him. And after all of those crazy exchanges and punches, especially that one scene where it looked like they were being animated as they were fighting in space, so the Chimera Ant King is not going to give up. He still wants to know his name, but he does say he is going to honor Netero. He's sort of like appeasing him a little bit by saying he's going to allow some humans to live in their own little sectioned off area. But this still does not sit well at all with Netero, and he leaves him with what was probably my favorite part of the episode, and it wasn't even an action scene. After Netero uses this technique, he looks all old and decrepit. It looks like it like rapidly aged him even more, and he leaves this like little bit of warning to the Chimera Ant King, and he actually calls him by his name, which is Meruem. Pretty strange name, but that's what it is. It's Meruem, and he lets Meruem know that do not underestimate mankind and how they're going to evolve in the future. And that's sort of been like the whole like clash between the two, because you have the ants who have slowly evolved since the beginning of time and reached up to this point where they created the Chimera Ant King Meruem, and at the same time you have the humans who have been sort of slowly sort of facilitating their advancement as time has gone on. At least that's the way the Chimera Ant King looks at it. But he's suddenly shocked and put in fear when Netero lets him know not to underestimate mankind. And I really, really loved that scene. There was just something really, I don't know, just intense about it, the way they showed the scene where he was, like, completely destroyed, it's all black and white, and then he suddenly, like, stabs himself in the heart, which actually has this bomb go off, which just completely destroys everything in sight, and it's called the Poor Man's Rose, and it's because it takes the form of this big explosive rose in the air. That's the end of the episode. It was intense, to say the least. Really, really surprising, especially because we have Netero, who just frankly got his ass kicked this week, but even with him constantly getting hurt, with his limbs getting cut off, he still kept coming back, and I just thought that was really intense. All of the dialogue between them was great, but I mean, obviously the thing that was the showcase this week was the animation and the artwork, which always just looked amazing. In the beginning of the episode, it was sort of a tease to what we were going to see, but the minute you started seeing these guys fly through space and everything, and at the end when you saw Netero, just the way they like drew his art style, how creepy he looked at the end, was truly disturbing. You can understand why the Chimera Ant King is now a little fearful at this point. He now knows that humans could possibly overthrow him in his brand new Chimera Ant Kingdom. And the whole name with Meruem, I'm not really sure if there's any big significance behind this. I just think it's a pretty weird sounding name. I'm probably just going to keep calling him the Ant King because it's a lot easier. Now, the biggest question here is, what is this bomb going to do against the Chimera Ant King? Is he going to be able to survive this? Obviously, this is one of the biggest freaking explosions that we've seen in the series. We've seen some, like, big craterous things, show up before, but this is on a completely different scale. And we've seen that Meruem was able to survive all those other attacks that Netero is throwing at him, so I think he's probably going to be able to survive a bomb like this. I really don't think this is the end of this character. And now that Netero is probably dead at this point, I mean, there's no doubt about it, he's dead. He freaking stabbed himself in the heart and there was a big explosion. Dude's dead as fuck. There's going to be gone, and there's the whole Pito thing. Like, where is that going to go now? Where is the Chimera Ant King going to go if he survives? And if he does die, what are the generals going to do? Are they just going to completely flip their shit? What's going to happen? There's so many questions. But this was an incredible episode that had everything going for it. I could talk about the action for days, but there was also some other things that made this one good. I liked the metaphor that Meruem was using, where he was trying to find he was trying to thread the needle, and they showed like all of these needles in space, and there were like thousands of them all over the place. And as the battle was going on, you could see like he was just trying to thread it perfectly, and then when he was finally starting to win at the end, he found it. He found exactly what he needed to do to win. And I thought that was really cool. I loved all the artwork, especially at the end when Netero was looking all creepy and crazy. It was awesome. This was just a great episode with great pacing, animation, artwork, music, voice acting, full package. Hunter x Hunter is back, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of Hunter x Hunter is back, apparently the manga version is actually coming back in June. This is huge news for me because I do not read the Hunter x Hunter manga, but considering that the anime is coming real close to where it is in the manga at this point, they're probably going to have to stop doing the anime, or they're going to give us some really crappy filler. Or maybe it'll be good filler. Maybe they'll end it, they'll come back, and they'll come back after a hiatus. I'm not really sure how this is going to affect the anime version, but if you guys want to see the article I read about the manga returning, I'll put a link to that in the description box below so you guys can check that out. What I will say is if they do cancel the anime version, I'm going to want to read the manga version because I want to see what's going to happen next, especially if there's going to be more continuing arcs after this. Maybe it'll be the final arc. Maybe this series will go on for another 10 years, just like friggin' One Piece. Who knows? All I know is it's good to know that it's going to be coming back. It's just a shame because the anime version is caught up to it right at this point, and right as it's about to end, the manga version is coming back. So I don't know what to make of it fully. But otherwise, check that stuff out. Check this episode out. It was awesome. Definitely one of the best action episodes of the entire series, bar none. Easily in my top 5 episodes of Hunter x Hunter. It was just amazing. Check it out, guys. Kick-ass episode. If you guys saw this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me with your comments below. What did you think of the battle between Netero and Meruem? Remember, guys, before you leave, make sure you hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's really, really easy to do, and you can subscribe to our channel so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, and you can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to both of those in the description box below. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.